Hello, boils and ghouls. It is I, the Rick Keeper. Tonight's Rick story is a movie review. All because this young Rick decided to watch TV late at night when he shouldn't have. But he did end up with nightmares for years. Our story tonight is called Night Terrors from the TV Guide channel.
Hello, and welcome back to the Rick Bison channel. Today is going to be a movie review. And why is that? Well, this movie holds something close to a fart for me. Yeah, you heard that. For years, this movie has haunted me. Maybe for some of the scares, but more or less, I forgot what the hell it was. So let me take you back. Back when I was about 7 or 8, when I was a wee little Todd. One night, I couldn't sleep. So I had this brilliant idea of, you know what, if I can't sleep, I'll just watch some TV. So I go to the living room, turn on the TV, don't know what the heck is on. I check the TV Guide channel. This is where one of my first terrors were burned into my memory, before another one would haunt me too. I was distracted, so instead of watching what was on the TV Guide, I was just watching the video. But all I could think about was this group of people being chased by robots. There was this beautiful woman being chased by a hulking beast of metal, tearing through a house or a room or a cargo container. My imagination probably made it look way better than it was. Let's just say, that was a quick way to go to bed. The trailer scared me so hard, I never knew the name of the film. That memory started to fade. Years went by. Eventually, I did remember, and I was curious. And I couldn't find it. I was trying to find this apocalyptic robot movie. It wasn't until I found a movie called Virus. It had cyborg men. It was a horror movie. There was a giant robot busting through a metal doorway. The thing that haunted my dreams forever. And I come to find out that the lead was Jamie Lee Curtis. Some people, they may have talked about her appearance, but you know what? There was something in True Lies that maybe awakened something in me. Maybe there's something in Christmas of the Cranks that awakened something in me. Virus 1999 is a horror film with a budget of $75 million. And it was a complete box office bomb. It didn't even recover half of its budget. The director was a well-known VFX specialist and supervisor.
Oh my God!
This movie sits at a 12% on Rotten Tomatoes. So a movie so bad that I think Universal has buried it. It's funny though, they thought they had a real winner here. They had a toy line, they even had a video game made by the French. I looked up the video game for a second, and the main menu has R2-D2 being tortured. Alright, so this is my quick review of it. It's a 4 out of 10. The VFX with the robots are amazing. Some of the use of the CGI is okay and, dated. The movie itself is just plagued with problems. And it falls on the line of just being so kind of just forgettable and boring if you just exclude all the cool, robot cyborg scenes. So, let's get into the movie. We start with a Russian science navy vessel communicating with a Russian space station. I don't know, it's not really clear what is actually going on besides sending a connection or signal down to that ship. It is convenient for when this giant ion storm that, it looks like a spaceship. The astronauts look out and are like, what is that thing?
Huh?
It hits the space station, goes completely haywire, and the satellite that is shooting down communication to the boat shoots down this giant, badly VFX purple lightning. And it just never looks convincing. I understand it's supposed to be the electric entity. The boat goes haywire. What is repeatedly in this movie are pig screams. I swear to you, it's just pig screams. Oh, before the next scene, they do talk about a typhoon coming in. So we go from 7 days later, straight into the typhoon. Ship is getting hammered, and it's carrying a cargo vessel behind them. When you think of cargo ships, you just think of that big-ass ship, but this is like a little tugboat carrying a big cargo container ship. I find it hilarious that Jamie Lee Curtis is giving it her all. At some point, Donald Sutherland read that script. He's probably the only one who read the whole script. I realized it was a piece of shit.
It's gusting to 110. They get to 130, we're verging category 5.
Put her back into the wind, Woods.
Through this whole movie, he's the most entertaining person besides the one character, Richie. The storm's too strong, destroys the cargo ship, damages their tugboat. Donald Sutherland gives the best performance like he doesn't even know what movie he's in.
Barge is taking on water. Captain!
Then we're introduced to the Baldwin, and Squiggy, and Richie, and Hiko. So, cargo's gone. The captain realizes he's fucked. He's financially never going to recover. They are scrambling as the ship is starting to sink and they can't repair it. Which is already a good horror element if you think about it. The ship's sinking, they only have so much rations left. You could just do that and that would work. Through the miracle of movie magic, they managed to find another vessel within their area. And during that, they have the scene of Donald Sutherland looking at a younger picture of himself. You're like, yep, that's it. You know what? I failed. I'm in super debt. This boat's gonna be gone. I have nothing. It's time to load up that gun. Let's play a single player Russian roulette. This movie has a few scenes that I don't think it's going for laughs exactly. And it just this scene where, you know, he has a gun in his mouth. Someone knocks on his door and he's like, we found something. And he says, he's like, I'm busy. He takes the time to pull the gun back out of his mouth to say the line, I'm busy, instead of just pulling the trigger and ending it.
I'm busy.
Skipper, there's a ship in the eye with us, dead in the water, about 12 miles out.
Back to the movie. What they find next is an expensive Russian Navy ship. So they get on the ship, find out that no one's on it. Squeaky says the best lines of, you know, let's get the fuck out of here. This is creepy. Those are bullet holes. Captain realizes this is an expensive ass ship.
A ship abandoned in international waters. Maritime law says she's a derelict. All we have to do is tow her to safety, slap a salvage lien on her, and the Russian government has to pay us 10% of her value to get her back. $300 million.
Donald Sutherland gives his greatest performance of not giving a single fuck.
My father was an admiral. I know a little something about maritime law. If there's anybody alive on the ship, you can't claim her.
But then let's not find anyone alive.
What does that mean?
Just that.
The Baldwin and Squeaky have to turn the ship back on. They get the power going, and then the entity, or whatever it is awake. And it's seeing them. So it sabotages and destroys their small boat. The anchor falls down, crushing, what is it called, the starfish? The starboard? It's a really shitty name. So anchor goes through, almost kills Cliff Curtis. Woods in this movie is basically, he plays it like a teenager.
Woods! Tell you what, I'm gonna go get some help.
What are you looking at?
Well, hey, it could have been me.
Oh, come on, Richie, isn't that enough guns? Damn. Man, I'm carrying too much. I got a bad latissimus, Richie.
I'm telling you, get rid of some of this crap. I'm thrilled.
Can we go now?
Blood, Richie.
Now can we go?
Oh, smells like dog shit.
Let's go, man.
Richie? Richie?
Woods, you're a mess.
Thank you.
You said a Russian?
Now they're stranded on the science vessel. I think Baldwin gives up the Scooby-Doo line. There's someone else on the ship. Let's split up and find them. So during that time, Squeaky's been in the engine room the whole time.
What was that noise?
Squiggy gets hanged by wires. Ooh, spooky. So it's Jamie Lee Curtis, Donald Sutherland, Baldwin, and Cliff Curtis. They're in the med bay trying to patch his leg. Richie and Woods go out and investigate where that person's at. This is where it starts to become Richie's in a different movie too. They find the armory and they grab so many fucking guns and bazookas. He is completely to the brim. He can't even fucking walk. If like a video game character like had to visually show how many weapons they would have to carry at once. Then they find one of the first monsters.
Oh, hello there.
It looks like a worm. You can't even tell. It just looks like a robot worm. You can't even tell what the hell it is. Richie shoots it, dead, and you find out it's like one of those dragonflies, but you can't tell. You can't even see the wings. Back to the med bay, he's almost patched up. Baldwin opens up a locker door. We get introduced to our last character, only surviving person from the Russian vessel. This masked person reveals it's a beautiful woman. I think she comes to, tells them there's something alive. No one believes if Donald Sutherland is on shrooms at this point. He is not even in the same movie.
Where the rest of her crew?
Dead.
Dead? Good.
It needs power to move through the ship.
What needs?
He waves off this woman screaming that there's something on the ship. It's basically the scene from Aliens.
I'm not gonna hurt you.
I believe at that point, Baldwin leaves, tries to find Squiggy, contacts Woods and Richie, and that's when Woods and Richie finally finds one of the workshops, building these little robots everywhere. And they're like, okay, let's fuck this shit, let's leave. They turn the power off, leave, and then I don't even think the scene changes. Literally, the entity turns it back on, and then Richie looks over at his head and goes, oh, time to inspect all of this. Let's turn back on. It builds up to a shootout where it looks really weird. It doesn't look right. Like, looks like just someone in a bodysuit shooting a gun at them. They leave the room. Baldwin catches up with Richie and Woods. Finally, they're realizing something's wrong with the ship. They turn around to a light and they figure out it's not one of their crew. It's a cyborg man, full of metal and flesh.
All right, I'm low on bullets. Everybody scooch together. Shit!
Before the scene even ends, it just cuts and it's our Russian newt basically says everyone's gonna die on the ship.
You're all going to die.
There's such a hard cut from them in an action scene shooting this robot man, saying everyone's gonna die. That made me bust laughter. It was so stupid and silly. They bring back one of the cyborgs, cut into it. The brain has like a computer battery inside of it, realizing that it's using both flesh and machine together. Not understanding what it is. Russian Newt gives them an explanation that it is a electric entity taking over everything that's electronic. The machine comes back online. They beat up the cyborg once again, and it's revealed that that was her husband who got turned into that. I think right after that, the storm comes in. They're not in the eye anymore, and if they don't steer the ship into a certain way, that the ship's just gonna sink. And then, jump scare, the skeleton pops out of the cyborg, and Richie shoots it in the face.
Hello, Mario.
And Donald Sutherland still thinks it's a Russian experiment. It's not something otherworldly. Now they faced a new problem.
The steering doesn't answer.
Baldwin says,
We can steer the ship from the engine room.
But you said the door was welded.
Well, cut the damn door.
I don't know if that's possible, but that gives the crew to do something, so they leave and they realize the ship now steered itself. But now, since that happened, now we could add another spook in. Squeaky comes back in, saying, hey, what's up? Literally doesn't say much, doesn't really haunting. He's just pale robot parts into his face. And then behind him is a giant robot. I think Woods trips the fuck out, falls over, and Squeaky picks him up and holds him over his head. And the giant robot does like a Mortal Kombat KO, punches straight through him.
Fatality.
I don't know. It's supposed to be scary, but it's so obscenely weird that okay, so they managed to open up a door, they lock themselves in it, and they're talking about the entity, it's electricity. Maybe they can talk to it. They're typing to the evil entity to see what it wants.
I need English,
We're 2/3 in the movie, and we're finally getting to what the evil bad thing is. Literally more than half the movie is them slowly figuring this shit out.
What the hell is even that?
Is that it? Is it the thing?
Wait a minute. No.
Life form analysis complete. Species is destructive, invasive, noxious, harmful to the
What species?
man. You are virus.
I feel like it just takes way too long, and all you get out of it is that this electrical entity sees humanity as the virus. Uh-oh, twist! The name of the movie, Virus. You thought that electric space alien entity was the virus, taking over everything, but no, humanity's the virus, and it wants to kill everyone and take them for spare parts. And this is where the movie splits up. Donald Sutherland has completely given up at this point. His performance, oh, beautiful. This is when he's just finally given up. He watches Richie kills Robot Squiggy, screams out of his mind.
Steve.
Shoots a bazooka, I think an underbarrel at the killer robot, and then just screams and runs away. He basically becomes his own Resident Evil game. Donald Sutherland gives the fuck up and stays in the room. And the 4 characters we are left with, Cliff, Nadia, Jamie Lee Curtis, Steve Baker, they're leaving in the Left 4 Dead campaign. They leave Donald Sutherland. There's no ship. He's not the captain. He's delusional as fuck. He's not in the same movie, so they're leaving.
Coming?
You hit a superior officer, Foster.
Boomer!
He decides, you know what? Fuck them. Maybe I can talk to this entity. He tells him he's the superior being or some shit. He says, I am the ultimate being. And then the electric entity says, okay, hit me up on deck 4. So basically, in our Left 4 Dead campaign, the 4 of them are trying to find a safe room to get away from all this bullshit. One of the bigger robots finds them and starts chasing after them, and all you hear is the damn pig squeals again. Then as they escape up a ladder, and then out the door, out one side of the ship, they run into the storm. Jamie Lee Curtis almost falls off. Our boy Cliffy Curtis here saves her. And then he just slips off and washes into the ocean.
He's gone! Keep moving!
During that point, our Resident Evil Richie losing his fucking mind. Blowing up whatever robot is in his path, and he starts building a fucking megaton bomb in one of the rooms. He says, fuck it, I'm gonna blow every motherfucker up, cussing to himself. It's the most entertaining thing out of this movie besides the captain. After that, Donald Sutherland finally goes into the room, walks past all the body parts being built into cyborg people. Okay, at this point, he talks to the entity. He wants to help him get off the ship. We go back to the safe room of the Left 4 Dead campaign. Curtis doesn't respond. I believe they hear a ship coming towards them.
Vessel Norfolk to the vessel at 29 South, 79 East. Received a mayday at 0800 hours. We have you on radar.
Richie's mayday, go through!
You are receiving but cannot...
And they want to be saved to shoot out a flare. This is the part where Baldwin finally comes to the conclusion Curtis and Russian Newt were on the whole time, is that this boat needs to sink. This thing can't get out, and we're probably gonna have to sacrifice ourselves. And it takes him this whole time from when he finds these machines all the way to the point of understanding what it wants. Finally got it, you know what? There's no way off the ship without you're gonna die, so might as well fucking take out this thing that's gonna kill humanity. They figure a plan of just releasing the fuel and putting a fucking bomb. Donald Sutherland comes in as a robot man for like 5 seconds.
Jesus Christ. You don't recognize me. You must treat me with respect.
He knocks everyone down. Talks some shit. Basically, it's the scene from like the first Terminator. Puts a bomb into his like robot hips, and then even though like this thing looks like it weighs like 500-600 pounds, somehow Baldwin fucking tackles him out of the room, manages to get out of the blast radius. And this is the last of Donald Sutherland. I think he just knew this movie was fucking shit, and then he had fun with it. At this point, they decide to act on their plan, and as they're getting to the whole room where they're gonna flood the ship, they run into Richie, and he looks like he's completely decked out in gear. He looks like he's playing Tarkov at this point. He looks like he's ready to fucking fight. They're still playing their Left 4 Dead campaign with no ammo. I honestly don't remember what he says, but I think they just part ways. I don't even tell him, hey, we're gonna blow up the ship. He doesn't tell him he has an escape plan. I think they just say, what are you doing? At this point, they're in the hull, setting the fuel up, they set the bomb, and then the biggest robot of them all comes out, busting through the doors. So what happens is very generic. It's the repeat of the last scene with Donald Sutherland. Comes in, tries to attack them, knocks some shit over, but this time, Jamie Lee Curtis falls into where the fuel is at. The robot hits her or attacks her, pushes her. She just passes out. wakes up.
English. Do you speak English?
Look, English, motherfucker!
Ready to be cut into pieces, but tortured to figure out where the bomb is. The robot, just like the movie, forgot, of Baldwin and Russian Newt, and they come in, they start shooting at the giant robot to distract it and try to save her. And then here comes in our boy Richie with an RPG straight out of Resident Evil. He gets up pissed off, knocks over a metal hole wall, basically knocks it over. Debris falls on top of Baldwin and Richie, and not Newt saves Jamie Lee Curtis as they escape the room. Tells Jamie Lee Curtis this thing can't get off the ship. I will sacrifice myself. At this point, Richie dies, tells Baldwin of the escape plan.
Now there's still a way to get off this ship. What? But you gotta get to the missile room. You'll understand when you get there.
Bison!
Russian Newt, Nadia, sacrifices herself, gets picked up by the robot.
I'm still alive, motherfuckers!
You have to tell people what's happened here.
And then somehow ignites these long cylinder propane tanks. I think ignites them, explodes.
Are there more of those devices aboard this ship?
Just one more.
Yeah, hey, you!
The smoke dissipates just enough from the fire. Jamie Lee Curtis looks over into the room, and you can't tell if that is Nadia's skeleton you're staring at or the robot. I got a little chuckle out of that. You can't even tell what you're looking at.
Barbecue time, everybody!
Baldwin and Jamie Lee Curtis run into each other, tells them about the missile room. Okay, at this point, they strap into Richie's escape plan device. Basically, it's a seat, and it's gonna carry them out, and it's only meant for one person. Baldwin's gonna sacrifice himself. Jamie Lee Curtis says, fuck that. He hugs onto him as the giant hulking robot comes through the door and tries to get them. They hit the eject button. It looks so stupid watching them fly away from like a missile. As they fly all the way out, the robot looks back, and oh, Richie has that mega bomb he was making. Sets it up, and
What the fuck is this piece of shit?
the ship explodes. That nearby ship that gave him the distress call sees that. Jamie Lee Curtis, Baldwin lands somewhere in the water. As they're passed out on some piece of debris as the helicopter's coming. Basically, at that point, Jamie Lee Curtis wakes up, sees a helicopter coming to rescue her, notices Cliff Curtis is behind them, checks him out, half his face is gone. Oh, it's a fake out. Oh, she wakes up from a dream. It's a dream jump scare right at the end as they fly away in the helicopter. How the fuck do you fall asleep inside of a helicopter? No idea. And then the movie ends directly at 90 minutes. They wanted to get in and get out at 90 minutes. And that's the movie. It's not that scary. The first two acts kind of drag. The movie overall is kind of boring. And right when it gets interesting, it just speed runs to end the film. The music is forgettable. The acting is fine, besides the two characters who stand out. For 90 minutes, the biggest thing are the designs of the cyborgs. And they can't really carry this movie on its back. I would like to thank you for listening to me rant about this movie. Now, I can let this movie rest in the graveyard of forgotten horror films. And that terror I felt as a child can rest in peace.
Are you sure it wasn't the movie Hardware that scared you?
Death Machine could have been the movie. It also could have been the movie Moontrap.
Don't forget about Saturn 3. He didn't see that coming. Well, my boils and ghouls, see you next year, and hopefully it will be closer to Halloween than Christmas. Have a great night.